I love books. Books have totally changed my life. I learned leadership skills by reading a book. I learned how to get out of debt by reading a book. I learned how to prosper on my job by reading a book. I even learned how to write a book by reading a book. Walk with me. Listen, I'm Billy Miller, the motivational minister, and I love reading books. And speaking of writing a book, I wrote this book here called You Can't Quit Now. This is one of my books that I want to give you for free if you want it. If you like a copy of this book, comment book in the comment section. I'm assuming you're here because you love books. But here's a free one. Just comment book in the comment section and I'm going to send it to you. But listen, I love books, man. I'm an avid reader. Uh, One of the things I always say when I get my paycheck, right? This is what I do with my money. You see it right here on the shirt. Look, I buy books and then I live off the rest. I got another shirt that says, I read books and at some point I eat. Listen, I love books, man. As a matter of fact, if you like one of these shirts that I'm talking about, just look in the description of this video. You can see the link to that. But listen, I love books, but guess what? It hasn't always been that way. I don't want you to think, well, Billy, you just started off like that. Listen, I didn't start off as an avid reader. I wasn't the guy in school, the geek in school who loved to read books. As a matter of fact, I struggled in school. I was smart in the early years. But by the time I got to high school, man, ninth grade, I struggled, man. And I wasn't a person that would just read a book other than a book for school that I got to read a textbook. And I only read what I had to read. But I was not the kind of guy that would go buy a book or even read a book if you just gave it to me. But it wasn't until my adult years when I got saved, when I gave my life to Christ, when I got serious about life, God began to transform me. And then that's when I started reading. I started off by reading the Bible. And I was reading the Bible different. I was reading the Bible to learn who I am in Christ. I was reading the Bible to learn what I need to do. Who am I? How do I talk? How do I walk? How do I live? And so, to get a better understanding of the Bible, I want to hear what other well-known, seasoned people had to say, and people had books. So that's when I began reading books, and that's when things began to change because I wasn't reading the book just to be reading a book. I was reading a book to learn. And from that day until now, I continuously read books, and I fell in love with the art of reading books. Listen, I don't read books just to be reading books. You know, a lot of people go get books and just because it's a popular author, sometimes it's well known to hate. A well known author came out with a book, and people on the ground taking pictures with the book, and they probably haven't even read it. That's not why I went and bought a book. I didn't buy a book off of popularity. I bought a book based off of the promise that the book says. So let me get a little bit deep into it so you can understand what I'm saying. So there are different categories of your life. I got my personal growth goals. I have these different goals, right? I have financial goals. I have health goals, right? I have relationship goals. So you have all of these goals, career goals, business goals. Are you following me? And I wrote down all of these different goals that covered every area of my life. And then once I got that straight, I said, well, who is the expert in this particular area? So, for example, when I got my first leadership position, I was a supervisor in a restaurant. Well, I didn't know anything about being a leader or how to be a manager, right? So I asked myself, okay, who is the person that this is their thing? Who is the person that's an expert in leadership? Who is the person that this is their vision? This is their purpose. This is why they were born. And once I find that person, listen, they may be so high you can't reach them. They may be so out of reach that you can't call them up. But guess what? Success leaves clues. Put that in the comment section. That's a popular quote. A lot of you've heard it before. But put that in the comment section. Put success leaves clues. Listen, I might can't call it. For example, with this leadership expert, I found out it was a man named John Maxwell. He was a leadership guru. He's America's top leader. Well, guess what? I can't call up John Maxwell to come mentor me, right? but he's written books. So I bought a book on leadership by John Maxwell. Listen, I could have bought a book on leadership from Dave Ramsey, but Dave Ramsey is more in the financial realm. Are you following what I'm saying? It's not saying that he can't teach me on leadership, but I want to find the person that this is what they were created to do, and I'm gonna read their books. I did the same thing with family. I did the same thing with in every area. I wrote those books out, and I remember in the year 2005. Some of you watching this, you probably weren't even born. But anyway, in 2005, well, let me go back to 2004. 2004, I read about 7 or 8 books. That was the most books I ever read in a year. But this particular year, I got strategic, and like I told you, I wrote that category out, and I wrote a book for each month. That's 12 books. But I didn't know how some books may not have been that long. Some books I may have were able to, get past quick. I didn't want to have to wait till the next month to read another book, right? So I said, let me get 2 more possible books just in case I finish reading one book early in the month. It might have been 20 pages or something. You got what I'm saying? So I had these backup books. So total in all, it was 36 books. And I just wrote this list out. 36 books. I got a whole testimony on this too. I'm not gonna go into that whole testimony right now. But just know I had 36 books that I had. My goal was to read 12, but just in case I finish one early, I have 2 more backup books to read. You follow me? At the most I can read is 36. So that's what I did, and I began to learn. I began to read. And I'm telling you, I can't remember the month. I want to say it was October. By October of that year, I started in January 2005. By October, I had read 36 books, the most books I ever read at one time. Even to this day, I never read that many books, but that particular year, something special about that year, I read 36 books. And listen, I didn't just skim through a book real fast just to say I read it, right? Okay, I got that one done. Let me get the next one. Because my goal wasn't to read all 36. My goal was just to read 12, but I just had 2 backup in case I had some extra time. But I wound up reading 36 books. And let me tell you, reading those 36 books, God put the right books, because there's billions of books in the world, right? But God gave me the right books for the right time to help me for each stage that I needed it for. And the information from those books totally changed my life. They totally transformed my life. And here's the blessing behind it. Those 36 books that I read in 2005, right now, this day, at the time of this video, I can still point to areas that I'm still benefiting from the information that I read in 2005. That's over 20 years ago. Are you understanding what I'm saying? In other words, when I finished reading those books in 2005, it wasn't like, okay, that helped me for right then. No, I can show you something right now that I'm still benefiting from. I'm still reaping the benefits. I'm still reaping the harvest from the books that I read in 2005. Now, how many of you know I read more books since 2005? I still got over 20 years worth of other books that I read. But I'm just talking about just that year alone. Just that year alone. I ain't even talking about books I read this year. I ain't talking about books I read last year. Just in that year alone, I can show you right now evidence of things. I say, hey, this came from the reason I know this, the reason you're seeing this right now is a result of books I read in 2005. So I'm a big avid reader. I love books. And so I decided to create this channel called Billie Reads. And I created this channel to share with you books that have impacted my life. I want to share with you some books that have helped me along the way. And once I get going, I'm gonna have different categories. I have the books for example, I have all the books that I read in health, all the books I read in finances, all the books I read in leadership. Are you following me? But that's what I'm going to do with this channel, just to share with you. Of course, some of the books will be older, but it's still powerful. I'm gonna share with you newer books as well, ebooks, all of that. I have, I don't know how many books I have. I have hundreds of books, if not 1,000, but that's paperback copies, ebooks. But I'm going to be sharing with you on this channel. So this is what I want you to do. There's three things uh, I want you to do. Stay with me. Stay with me. Hey, I want to take this quick moment to tell you that not only do I love reading books, I also love writing them too. And I want you to check out the books that I've wrote. I'm a #1 Amazon bestseller, and my books change lives. Just like the shirt says, I write books that change lives. You see them right here beside me. Listen, to find out more about it, look in the description of this video and find out more about how you can get the ebook or the paperback copy. Now let's get back to this powerful teaching. Those three things. So three things that I want you to do. So here's number one. Number one, make sure that you subscribe. As a matter of fact, I don't even have my thing up here. Hold on. Let me show you my channel. Let me give you the channel. There it is right here. So make sure you subscribe. It is youtube.com/@Billie Reads. I had to put that @ sign after that slash. But youtube.com/@Billie Reads. So I want to, so if you want to follow me on this channel, if you love books, if you're interested in hearing about some of the books that have impacted me, and maybe some you want to read, right? But this is what you want to do. Make sure you subscribe. But after you subscribe, you should see a red subscribe button down there. But after you subscribe, listen, do go one step further for me. After you subscribe, I want you to hit the notification bell. You'll see a bell look just like that. Hit the notification bell so that way when I do submit a new video about a book, you can um, you'll get notified that I have a new video about this particular book, because it may be a book in the area that you want to grow in. And then last but not least, the third step, I want you to watch the video that I put on there. I want you to comment. I want you to share it. I want you to hit the like button. And this is your way to participate. And it also helps in the algorithm. And that way it can push it out to other people where they can see the video as well. So that's what I want you to do. And listen, you can start off by watching this video right here. Just click it right there and watch that video. Listen, I'll see you there. I love y'all. Y'all take care. Y'all stay up. Y'all stay blessed. And always remember that the word is your life.